I'm Layla.
And this is the Degrassi Rewatch podcast. First off, if you're new here, thank you so much for joining us. It's going to be a long ride because we have a lot of episodes to get through. And if you are returning, oh my God, thank you so much because we've had like a year-long hiatus and it's kind of embarrassing, but we're back. A lot of things happened, like pandemic. So we're going to be doing things a little bit different for the rest of season 1 and season 2, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Layla, how have you been?
I've been good. It feels so weird coming back after so long.
Yeah. So, what's been new in your life? I know you're still in high school. You are now
I'm a junior.
A junior.
And when we were recording, I was a sophomore.
Yeah. So we're meeting Layla right at the tail end of her high school career. She's a junior in the middle of a pandemic, so I know school looks a lot different for you right now.
Yeah.
How's that been?
Surprisingly, it's been really good. The school is back open, but I'm back home now, and I'm just doing virtual, so it's really easy for me. It's more, I have more time management, and I'm able to go at my own pace, so it's really good for me.
That's awesome. I think if I were back in high school, I did do online classes for as a supplement to my senior year. I did 2 online classes, but I was while I was still in school, going to school regularly, of course. But I think online classes are they do teach you a lot. It does teach you about time management and kind of being more in control of yourself, and then you don't have as many distractions and things like that. I know it kind of sucks. I know you probably miss your friends, right?
Yeah. It was a hard decision whether to go back or to stay home, but my grades have been so good and it's been so much easier for me. I just think that was the best decision.
Yeah, net positive. There's going to be some drawbacks, but yeah, from what I know about your time at school during the pandemic, panorama, Panic at the Disco, it's been good for you. You really do well at advocating for yourself. A lot like Emma does, but more so via email.
Yeah, so, I know, it's weird.
Yeah, so you've had drama this year for sure.
Most definitely. So, I started Spanish 2 this semester. Well, not this, yeah, this semester. And I had some issues with my Spanish teacher. I don't know if you guys know, but I am hearing impaired. So, learning virtually is a lot different than learning in person. I would have a lot more devices and a lot more accommodations for me if I was in school. So I'm trying my best to learn the language, and there's already a language barrier. I'm already struggling to hear and to comprehend everything, and my teacher is not being the nicest person about it. And I would ask for help and I would advocate for myself, and she would send me these emails and she would literally put words into all caps, and she would ask me questions, and she would go talk to other teachers that I had from a previous semester when I had Spanish 1, and she would be like, well, why are you just now asking for help, and what is the issue? All your other classes you're doing so great on, why are you not doing good in my class, and what do you need? And I felt even though it felt like she was yelling at me through the screen and she was upset with me. So it took, I don't even know how long for her to get it through her head. We had my mom email her. We had several different people from my school email her. And now things are finally better for me. It was a struggle because she was wearing a cloth mask. I didn't have closed captionings, and now I do, but that was a whole big situation. And now she's wearing a clear mask, which helps me. And I'm finally able to comprehend the language and get everything situated for myself, which was so irritating.
Yeah, like, you need the clear mask. Teach us to use a clear mask because you do rely on reading lips.
Yeah, I do.
And, when you were in school, you would sit, closer to the teacher, like
Yeah.
in front of the class, and they had like an FM system
Yeah.
that connected right to your hearing aids, and you were able to hear everything they're saying. But
Yeah,
this
and
teacher,
there wasn't any pandemic, so there were no masks, there wasn't any kind of issue. It was just normal. And even when I was in school, it was still difficult. So having to learn through a screen and be expected to do as well as any other student who isn't hearing impaired, that's not fair and that's not right.
right, and I remember you and I had this discussion about like the closed captioning because like you said you guys use Microsoft Teams and you don't have like captioning where like maybe she could switch to Zoom because also Leah didn't mention her teacher is currently in school, right?
Yes.
So she's in school teaching. So like Leila doesn't have like it's not like she's sitting at her computer trying to teach them Spanish. There's also like and there's certain like sounds Leila can't hear. So like it's already hard pronouncing certain things in Spanish and then like having to do that while hearing impaired while someone's not wearing a mask. I mean not wearing a mask that you can see through. Yeah, and you sent her like I remember Leila showed me the email she sent her like professional email, probably better than any email I've ever seen anybody write in like corporate America. Like the email was like flawlessly written. She CC'd your speech.
Yeah, I CC'd I have a hearing support teacher, so I CC'd her and shout out to Miss Piazza, you're the best. And I CC'd a teacher. I call her my pace manager. She kind of runs everything for me, but that didn't really help. I had to go and when I first started, I just emailed my Spanish teacher and my case manager, and I put them into one email, and that wasn't doing anything. She was still responding the way that she was, so rudely. I put my hearing support teacher, and then they sat down, they had a conversation. But even though I am still doing better, there are still some issues with my Spanish teacher. Like, I would go and I would ask for accommodations for tests and for when she's grading me on pronunciation, because I'm not going to pronounce things like everyone else is, because it's just not going to work that way.
Right.
And she still feels like biased about it. And she's like, well, you have an A in my class, so what's the issue? But when my grade dropped all the way to a C. I sent I don't even know, maybe 5 emails, and I just waited, and she only responded to one email. Okay. So then I had to go and I had to CC my hearing support teacher again for her to actually get a response and for her to actually do what I asked her to do. And she still has sneaky comments. I had a test recently and I knew that I wasn't going to do the best if I didn't have my accommodations. So I asked for them, and she was like, well, the test is really easy, and if you guys are wondering about pronunciation and all that other kind of stuff, then I don't think you guys need it. But which was basically, oh, Layla, we're not doing that. I'm not allowing you to do that. And I was really upset about it, but I did get a good grade because I studied, even though, as always, teachers, they give reviews, and the test did nothing like the review. So it was really irritating, and I was frustrated, but I worked my way up and I would say I sent maybe 50 emails,
Yes, Lord.
or maybe like, I don't know, maybe like that, maybe 20 at most, to her, just trying to get her to understand. And I feel like she still doesn't.
That's a shame. I'm just like, on top of like having to go through online school and being hearing impaired, like she's making things extra difficult for you when she should be trying to make things easy for you, knowing that you have a disability, knowing that, you know, you've had trouble even communicating with her on her end, about how to, you know, better assist you. You're a teacher, you're supposed to be there to help students and teach them things. Like, you're supposed to be a support, and you're being like an adversary. I don't understand.
It's crazy because at the very beginning of the semester, she had a meeting with me personally. It was just me and her, and she was like, if you need anything, I'm here for you, and you know, I will do the best that I can to get you what you need because I care about your education. And you know, for her to say that and then do the things she did, I'm like,
Do the exact opposite. Like, the exact opposite. You actually made it harder for me to learn than easier. And you ignored all of my emails and just will respond to my hearing support teacher or my mom's email or the principal's email because apparently you don't respect my own advocacy for myself. Like, it's a shame. It's really a shame. So, you suck, Leila's Spanish teacher. Hope you hear this. You probably won't. But yeah, we're not a fan of you over here at the Dot. So you can kick rocks. Thank you for sharing that, Laila.
of course.
I know hopefully some of our listeners will, you know, think like they like to catch up with you in your life. So I'm glad you're able to share that with them. And hopefully you don't have to deal with her next year or, you know, once the semester is over.
Yeah.
You can just fly into the sun for all I care. As for me, a lot of things have changed. I have some cool projects coming up outside of the Degrassi world, and when we get closer to that, I guess I can let you guys know. But up until then, I've just been working, still doing web development and stuff, blah, blah, blah. No one really cares about tech stuff. It's boring. So what we're going to do this episode is we're going to go over the top 10 moments from season 1. And then in the follow-up episode, we're going to go through the top 10 moments from season 2. And we're doing this because
The seasons are so boring.
yeah, I'm trying to. What I'm doing is not what Leila's not her science teacher, is the opposite of what Leila's Spanish teacher is doing. Is I'm making accommodations for my sister. Okay, she did not like season 1 and 2 because, as she said, they're boring. So we went through them. I gave her. She's watched, I think, all of the episodes, but we're going to just go through the top 10 moments rather than go through like a rundown of all the boring episodes because nobody wants that. And we want to get to season 3 where, as you know, if you've already watched Degrassi, things pop off. So, so we're going to do a countdown. Some of the episodes that we're going to mention are all within the first 7 episodes we already reviewed. So there may be some repeats there. But it's going to be fun. I'm excited. How are you feel about this, Laila?
I'm excited. I'm kind of curious to see how our viewers are going to think of our top 10 moments, if they're going to agree with them or if they're going to be like, no, I think this episode is better than this episode. And I think that, you know, their opinions on each episode is going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point, Laila. If you disagree with us or you have your own top 10, in a different order, like, definitely reach out to us either on leave a comment on our Instagram or on our Twitter. Let me just get those handles for you because sometimes I don't be knowing. So, let us know what your top 10 are and we can see if we have them in common. On Instagram, everyone just actually go to our Instagram and leave your top 10 in the comments. I'll make a post. So, by the time you listen to this, the post will be up there. But our Instagram is at the dot podcast, spelled out. So THEDOTPODCAST. All right, cool. So we can jump right into it. If you haven't seen all of season 1, there will be spoilers ahead. So if you want to pause this, watch all season 1, and then come back. Or if you don't care to watch it and you just want to hear the highlights, stick around because we're going to go through them.
So they are ordered from the most, the least important episode or the most boring episode to the ones that, you find interesting, and the ones that I think, as well as Kayla, think are the most interesting episodes of the season.
Yeah, so they're not really necessarily the most boring to the most exciting. These are like the most exciting out of the season, and then from like least exciting to most exciting. The boring episodes we kind of like left out.
Coming at number 10, we have episode 9, Coming of Age, and it's when Emma gets her first period.
Yeah, this was a funny episode. We see Emma's preparing for a presentation. They have a speech or whatever to give in Miss Kwan's class, and she's wearing like a sweater and this like light blue skirt.
Yeah, not the light
and she
blue
like
skirt.
had an attitude with everybody the entire day. She was snapping at all of her friends, being really sensitive. If you're a woman, you know how like a week before your period starts, and maybe during, like your patience is a little bit short with people. Maybe not everybody. I'm just going to speak for myself. I'm not the nicest when that time comes. So if watching it, you can see Emma's probably on her period. We don't know, but Emma's kind of high strung all the time, so it's like.
Yeah, honestly, if I was Manny, I probably wouldn't have known that Emma was on her period.
Yeah, it's like you're always high strung. You're always like mad about something. So not really shocking. But we see, she's sitting outside on the bench with Manny and JT and Toby, and they're just talking about something with their eyes closed. And JT and Toby get up and walk away. And Sean's walking over asking Emma if she wants to get her horoscope read or something like that. And she's like, yeah, I'll go to the computer lab with you. And she gets up, walks, takes a step, and Manny sees her butt, and she's like,
oh no, sit down, girl, sit down.
She's like, did you sit in something? And she's like, no, what the heck? She looks behind her, and boom, there's a big behind red stain on her butt. So they're scrambling to figure out what to do. Manny's like, this hasn't happened to me yet. I don't know what to do. They go in the bathroom. I think Manny goes and gets her some gym shorts.
Yeah.
From the Lost and Found or something like that. And they're oversized. And she has to give her speech in front of the class. And Manny is
sitting there holding up her pants.
She's such a great friend. She's holding up these gym shorts while she's talking. They're kind of just taking turns of holding up the shorts. And somebody, who was it? Was it JT or somebody was like, "What happened, Emma? Did you poop your pants?"
I heard the owl call my
gym shorts. Yo, Puff Emma's in the house.
Good one, JT.
This book is a bit too big for you. Metaphorical.
Guys, pull yourself together.
Do you have a problem?
It's okay. We can just cut.
Aww. Did Emmy pee her pants?
No, I just got my period for the first time. Menstruation, you may have heard of it, happens to 50% of the population. Perfectly natural. Nothing to be ashamed of, right, Miss Kwan?
Absolutely right, Emma.
Now, may we continue?
I love how she said it too. It's hilarious.
And she was just like very matter of fact about it and not embarrassed at all, which is what I love about Emma, is because like she really doesn't care. Like she really will be like, "Yep, I got my period," and of course it's your first one. Like sometimes you feel like, I don't know, kind of embarrassed, like a little bit like shy about it. Emma's is not that. She's not a shy person.
That's like the worst place to get it. It's while in school.
Seriously. This may be TMI, but I got mine in school. But I was in an all-girls school at the time, but I was wearing white pants.
Oh no.
For some reason, like that day, I was like, "Huh, I'm gonna wear." Like, I had to wear white pants. I was wearing white capris. I think I was in like maybe the same grade Emma and Manny are in right now, but I think I was in 7th grade. Yeah, 7th grade, and I was wearing white pants. I actually wore a uniform at school, but this was like dress down day. It was like a Friday. And so I wore like white capris and like a black top. But like if you're wearing white, I'm like, my skin is like deep brown. So I had to wear like black underwear underneath my white pants. But then I decided to wear 2 pairs of underwear. So whatever. And the crazy thing was, I was in health class taking a quiz on the menstruation cycle.
That's such a
It's
coincidence.
such a crazy coincidence. So I was sitting there taking my quiz about periods, getting my first period in white pants, and they bled through the white pants, and I had to go to the nurse and like I called my mom, and she was like, "Oh Jesus!" So I got one of them like huge like pads. I feel like diapers because that's the only pads they provide nurses with. Yeah, it was a wild day, but not as embarrassing as Emma's first period at all whatsoever. So that was number 10. Any other comments on that one, Layla?
I mean, credit to Emma for not being embarrassed about it. If it was me, I don't think I would be able to handle it as well. I'd probably start crying. Another TMI, since Kayla shared her TMI, I got mine when I was, I believe, in the 5th grade. I wasn't in school, I was at home, and I was at camp at the time. And I'm not sure if this was my first period, but it's an embarrassing period story. And I couldn't even go. We were going to the Statue of Liberty. And, it just decided, hey, today's the perfect day to just show up. And I was so disappointed and so upset because I wanted to go to New York. It seemed like, I was like 10, so going on a trip that far away and having to take a bus, like, that's so cool. And I was left at home, laying in bed, just chilling there.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
That was a great episode. Very, very, very much on time in terms of season 1 and where everyone is at in their lives. I feel like a lot of shows these days who cover teenagers don't cover like the very normal things like that. It's always like over the top drama, where like drama's good if it's like in small doses and leads up to a big thing.
I feel like shows nowadays, it's literally always drama, or it always has something to do with romance.
Yeah.
Like Degrassi, it has like a mixture of both. Like I would sit there and just watch it like without being like, oh my god, it's so much drama. Like I'm the kind of person where if it's too much drama and there's too much beef going on between two people, I don't want to watch the show anymore. I get so frustrated. But for Degrassi, it's not really like that.
Yeah, it paces it out pretty good. Like, it paces it out as if you're actually in school. Like things, you're not going to school every day with like, they're just not catastrophe every single day of your life. Like a lot of shows.
I feel like Degrassi is a lot more realistic about things.
For sure. So with that being said, we're going to jump into the number 9 spot, which we have is episode 5, Parents' Day. This episode we already reviewed, so if you haven't heard it, feel free to go back for
Yeah,
full
we'll
review of this
definitely
episode.
go back because there is a rap in the beginning of it.
Yeah, we're not sure if we're gonna bring our raps back, but
Maybe
you wanna
for
hear us
season
rap.
3.
Yeah, season 3 is actually probably worthy of a lot of song breaks. But the moment that we're pointing out in this particular episode is that Ashley and Paige were competing for Toby's mom's attention because she's an agent, so she's a casting agent or whatever, and they were like going overboard trying to like win her affection because they wanted to be signed, basically. But at the end of the episode, she gives her card to Terry and said, "Oh, you have an interesting look," and they were really
monkey in
salty about
line.
that.
Oh, I will, don't you worry. And it was a pleasure to see you again. An absolute joy. By the way, something to remember me by.
If you're interested in acting, give me a call. You have an interesting look.
That's, I mean, for all the people, I would have thought it was Paige. Like, I really would have, because Ashley's attitude is kind of like meh. And Paige is very, like, confident in herself, and I feel like that's something that a lot of people would be like, oh, well, you know, she kind of fit the picture.
Right, she has star quality.
Yeah. But that's like, I don't know, Paige, I don't even know my opinion about Paige. Paige is just Paige.
Yeah. So Ashley and Paige are constantly in competition for things. So this is just like a dose. This is earlier on in the season, so like there's a small dose of like this competition between them that kind of like feeds through the entire season. So, all right.
Okay, now we're going to go to number 8, episode 12, Wannabe. So this episode is about Emma and Manny fighting over the Spirit Squad with Paige. So I think that this episode is, I think it's too problematic. Like, I feel like Emma thinking that cheerleading is sexist. There are guy cheerleaders too. I don't know at the time when this was like recorded if that was like
2003 or no, 2002, something like that.
was that like a,
Yeah, they were guy cheerleaders for sure.
but I feel like she shouldn't have like been like, oh well, cheerleading's sexist and you shouldn't do it. Like, I feel like if I was Manny, I would be like, oh, well, that's kind of rude. Like, for that to be, like, your best friend,
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, you need to support your friends and, like, whatever they're doing. And, I mean, her being friends with Paige, I kind of get that because Paige is the popular girl and, you know, a lot of people don't like Paige and a lot of people have their own opinions. But for her to be so biased about it, it wasn't.
Right. I think Emma was definitely hiding behind like her like the feminism thing, like the sexism thing. She was hiding behind that because I think the larger issue is that like she kind of wants to control Manny. You know, Manny's most like the person who's always at her side, always helping her with things. But like Emma kind of always wants to be a star of the show in some sort of way. So her breaking away from Emma and hanging out with, you know, Paige and Hazel kind of makes Emma feel a little bit insecure. So the moment that like makes the list on this particular countdown is the fact that Emma and Manny fought, and we haven't seen them up until this point fight at all during the season.
I believe you wrote that article, Em. You've got to get ready to cancel it. How long have we been friends? Since kindergarten? And now you think you can drop me like a hot potato just because, ooh, some 8th grader is finally talking to you? It's not like that, Em. I want to become a cheerleader, that's all. Please. Is it so wrong if I become friends with Paige in the process? You honestly think Paige is your friend? Is that so hard to believe? That for once someone cool likes me? She's just using you, Manny. No, you're just jealous. Jealous of that pretentious wannabe? You know the difference between you and Paige? Paige is fun. You're so boring sometimes I want to scream. Well, I sure hope you and Paige have fun together. Just don't come crying to me when she starts a knife in your back. Don't worry, I won't.
Like, Manny went out of her way to help find Emma when she was like being kidnapped or whatever. And
Exactly. That's your best friend. She saved your life.
Right. She helped you when you got your first period. She's been like helpful, you know, between Emma and Sean. Everything that Emma goes through, Manny's always there as supportive. She supports everything that Emma does. She supported her with that fight against the GM foods, like in the cafeteria. Excuse me, like, you know, Manny's always been there. And the one time that Manny wants to do something on her own that doesn't involve Emma, that has something, you know, a benefit for her, like she's good at gymnastics. We see her in the beginning of the episode, like she does a whole like cartwheel in front of Paige, which she's talented, so she should be able to use her talents to uplift the school during games or whatever. But Emma gets so upset that she like wants to write an article protesting against the Spirit Squad and the Grapevine, calling it sexist. And it's just a shame. Like, we get to see, like, also I noticed in this episode, there is some type of like there is like a few like moments that are like reminds me of Mean Girls, but I know this episode came out before Mean Girls was even written. But like when Manny is like outside and Paige and Hazel walk up like, hey, you want to hang out for school? It was like when Regina pulled up to Katie and was like, hey, you want to go shopping? Haley's are good at going shopping. And then they go to Manny's house and she's talking to her friend, but they're in the background like looking through her clothes and like making fun of her actual friend, which is what Regina and other plastics did when they were talking about like, what was her friend's name?
Which one?
The one who didn't like Regina.
Oh, God.
Janice Ian. Duh, I should have known that. Yeah, so it was kind of like that. Like, they were making fun of Emma because they wanted to make sure that Emma didn't write that paper. And then she calls Emma because she's supposed to hang out with her.
And she's like, no, I won't write it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, she's like, oh, are you coming over? Like, no, wait, Emma called her. And she's like, are you coming over? And she was like, no, I'm sick. And that was kind of like...
Yeah, that reminds me of Mean Girls.
Yeah, she was like, I'm sick. She was like, boo, you whore. So, yeah, so Emma heard, you know, Paige and them in the background. She's like, oh my God, is Paige there? And she's like, oh, she's just leaving. And of course, Emma goes ahead and writes that article and then, you know, calls her a bimbo and everything.
What is a bimbo in the first place?
You said, what's a bimbo?
Yeah.
That's like an old school, like, word for whore. Like, trashy girl, you're a bimbo.
How you gonna call your own best friend that?
Because she's a hater, and she was salty that she was hanging. I was like, she's so petty because like she found out that they were hanging out, so she goes ahead and writes the article anyway, because Manny lied to her. Although there's been plenty of times where Emma has lied to Manny, but okay.
Yeah, I feel like Emma's such a feminist, and for her to be like so young, and for her to be a feminist, it's like.
It's okay to be a young feminist.
I'm not saying it's not okay. It's just, I don't know many people like around that age that are like.
Yeah, she's very progressive. Yeah. Well, I guess she's not progressive because she had an issue with the Spirit Squad. So she picks and chooses what things to fight and what hills to die on, which is like almost every hill, but okay. All right. So coming in at number 7, we have The Mating Game, which is episode 6 of season 1. And this is episode where I think Miss Kwan, is Miss Kwan the only teacher at the school? Miss Kwan and Mr. Simpson? I feel like the other teachers are like rarely shown. It's like Miss Kwan, Mr. Simpson, and Mr. Armstrong. But anyway, Miss Kwan is giving them an assignment. This episode was also reviewed by us, so if you wanted to go back and listen to that, feel free. Yeah, so basically Paige makes Ashley jealous because Paige is paired up with Jimmy, Ashley's boyfriend, for this like Romeo and Juliet skit they have to do.
I hate Romeo and Juliet.
It's like the standard like must read for some stupid reason in high school. Yeah, but she's paired up with him and kind of makes Ashley jealous and, you know, kind of insinuates that if she wants to keep Jimmy around, she should have sex with him. So Ashley, being the bubblehead that she is, thinks that this is a good idea.
Hey, Ash, you were a great nurse.
I know what you're doing, Paige Michaelchuk.
What are you talking about?
I'm not blind. You were all over Jimmy in there.
It's called rehearsal.
It's called backstabbing.
Ashley, we're studying Romeo and Juliet, not Julius Caesar, okay?
What does that even mean?
Anyway, just because you two have been going out for like forever doesn't mean that Jimmy's bored of you. At least he's never said so to me.
You've heard Jimmy's bored with me?
Not at all. But if I were you, I'd make sure he wasn't. Before someone with a little more chemistry comes along.
Hey, Ash, I was looking for you. Yeah. Whoa. What was that for?
Didn't you like it?
Sure.
Oh, if you like that, you'll love what I've planned for our anniversary. Mom's going to see Jeff perform in his orchestra, and Toby's going to a friend's house. So we'll be all alone. Remember what Dr. Sally said today? Well, I'm ready.
Yeah, it's stupid.
I
Ashley's just like,
I don't know. I feel like I would never expect Ashley to be like, to really take Paige seriously and go like do what she says basically. But isn't Paige older than Ashley?
no, they're the same age.
They're the same age. Oh, well, maybe because like Paige is more popular and she, I guess, has gone through more.
So they think.
Yeah, so they think. I mean, if it was me and like one of my friends was like, "Oh yeah, you should sleep with this dude," why? Like you have to ask yourself why. Like, why would she go and say that? If I'm not ready to do it, then whatever. And you could always like just be like, no. Like,
Right.
Like if you wanna, go sleep with somebody that's so bad, you do it yourself. Why are you forcing me to do
So
it?
Ashley doesn't want that.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so it's another like what I mentioned earlier is like Paige and Ashley are always in competition, and I think Ashley's so threatened by Paige. Like every little comment she takes to heart, and she takes so seriously that she would, lose her virginity basically based on a little comment that Paige made during or after English class. Like it's ridiculous. Grow some backbone. Ashley could take a note or a page out of Emma's book and kind of stand up for yourself. It's like Ashley wants to act like she's strong or whatever, presidential in a way, whereas like you have no backbone, no thought of your own. You're very swayed from one way to the other based on someone's comments, which is like, it happens to the best of us. But for something like this, it's just, I wouldn't advise it. It's just like, it's like, okay, pressure me into like getting my nose pierced or something like that.
Exactly.
Try to make me feel bad about that. But you're going to make me feel bad about not sleeping with my boyfriend. We're in 8th grade, by the way. 8th grade.
You were in 8th grade?
Yeah, 8th grade, because they're Manny and Emma and everyone, Manny, Emma, JT, Toby, all of them are 7th graders in season 1. And then, they become, Paige, what am I saying? Paige, Ashley, Spinner, Jimmy, they're all 8th graders.
Okay, so next on the list, we have Under Pressure, which is episode 14. This is the episode where Sean and Jimmy fight. So, I would never suspect Sean and Jimmy to fight. I just feel like Jimmy doesn't really seem like the type to fight somebody.
Really? Because they've been like...
I mean, they've been like going at each other.
Yeah, they
like,
make snarky remarks at each other here and there. But this particular episode was hard because the moment that the fight in this moment was kind of blowing up the entire episode because Sean was nervous about his grade and nervous about that media immersion test. And of course he did bad on it. So like up until like him actually taking the test, he was like freaking out, stressing out with Emma about trying to pass this class. And, he was at his locker and he had just like punched his locker because he was frustrated. And then Jimmy walks up and he was like, "What's wrong? Like, what did you say to him?" I don't know. I'll insert a clip here.
Oh, what's wrong? Forgot your combo? You should have Spinner for one of his Ritalin. Really helps sharpen the memory.
Is that a joke?
Yeah, relax.
Don't push me, okay? Dude, what's your problem? What's my problem?
Yeah, do you understand English?
So you think I'm stupid?
No. I think you're a freak.
Hey, guys. Guys, what's going on here?
Nothing, we're just playing around.
Well, tone it down, all right?
I'll see you after school.
So after school, they fight. Everyone's outside. Emma's there trying to, tell him to stop or whatever, tries to break it up. And then Sean goes over there and pushes her to the ground.
Exactly. And then doesn't even pick her up.
He I guess he was just sitting there with a stuck face looking stupid. Like, you would push this girl to the ground. And she took her time getting up, okay? She was like Sweetie in that elevator. She took her time getting up, and he just stood over her and looked at her like Quavo. Was that who she was? Quavo or Offset?
Quavo.
Okay, yeah, like Quavo. He just looked at her. And then she got up and walked away herself. But he didn't even help her. It's
That's so rude.
So, his temper that everyone's been nervous about, everyone's been scared of for, the whole season, basically, comes to a head and they fight. This is in our number 6 spot, by the way.
Hey, where are you two going?
Sean Cameron wants to fight Jimmy. It's not gonna happen.
Dude, you're walking away from...
Jimmy, let's go.
Look, man, we don't have to do this. It's stupid.
Man, no wonder Armstrong cut you from the team.
He only cut me because you got in my way and faked an injury.
Yeah, whatever.
You want to fight? Then let's fight. I'll meet you in the alleyway.
Jimmy, if you do this, don't expect me to watch.
Fine. It's gonna be ugly anyway.
Sean, stop it.
Out of here, Emma.
Emma, just go.
What if Radish finds out?
We're off school property.
Please, before it gets too serious.
What are you gonna cry now, Jimmy, huh?
Okay, so now we have number 5, which is Eye of the Beholder.
Yep, that's episode 4. This is another one we also reviewed. I guess I could probably stop saying that by now. But this is an episode where Terry got drunk at the party and lost her ever-loving mind, thanks to Paige. always comes back to Paige, making these little comments and making people feel a certain way. But Paige actually got her drunk. So I feel like Terry didn't get drunk. Paige
got drunk, which made Terry get drunk.
No, Paige wasn't drunk. Paige kept pouring the rosé I think they were drinking or whatever.
Didn't she drink like a cup?
She drank, but she kept pouring it for Terry. She had she sipped on one little glass, but she kept pouring it for Terry because she was jealous that Spinner wanted to go out to the dance with Terry and wanted to make a fool of Terry, so she got her drunk so Spinner wouldn't be interested in her. And Paige turned around and went and danced with Spinner because he wasn't interested in sloppy drunk Terry.
Finally, I was starting to think you weren't coming.
Fear not, Ashley. We're here.
Terry?
Bring Spinner on. I'm ready for my man.
Have you been drinking?
I tried to stop her.
Get her inside, now.
Trashy friend.
First of all, why are you drinking in 8th grade? You're
at
at a dance, not a prom, not,
Ain't no, there's no excuse to be underage drinking, but, kids are going to be kids, I guess.
And I would get if it was just like, oh yeah, Paige, I'm going to get drunk. But to have your own friend get drunk and you just sit there and laugh at her, that's
she wanted to
that's not no real friend. That's so fake.
Exactly. She's a horrible friend. Paige is not redeeming at all in this season. So our number 4 spot, we have Secrets and Lies. This is episode 8, season 1. This is when Ashley finds out that her dad is gay.
Everybody always loves him. He's the most charming man on the planet.
You still think so? After everything you guys have been through?
Of course. Your dad and I still care about each other. You know that, Ash.
Gee, it almost sounds like you two want to get back together.
Get back together? No. What makes you say that?
I don't know. You guys have been acting like there's some big secret lately. I just thought maybe it was something about you two. What, is there something?
Ash.
He hasn't found some other woman, has he? He's not getting married?
No.
Well, then what? Is he gay? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Ash, there are things your dad and I should have talked to you about a long time ago.
Mom, I was joking.
It's not a joke. Your dad is gay.
What a wild ride this episode was.
It was. I mean, as soon as he wanted to really have a conversation with her, I either thought that she was adopted or the dad had some really bad news to tell them or something like that, or oh, I cheated on your mom when you were pregnant or something like that.
Right.
But no, it was the complete opposite.
Sorry, my dog's barking. Cody, shh. Yeah, and it's crazy because we know that Ashley's parents are divorced because Ashley's mom is married to Toby's dad. We didn't know why they were divorced, but Ashley, since the first episode, we've seen she's been upset about it. She's upset about this living situation. She's upset about having to have a new sibling or whatever, because I believe she was the only child up until then. And it's a big life change, especially for someone like Ashley and Ashley's age. But Ashley putting the pieces together about who her dad's boyfriend was hilarious. She's like, he's been to our house. He's been to our holidays. I can't believe he did this to Mom. Freaking out. And it's Ashley's doing that little hyperventilating thing she does. I feel like every other time we see Ashley on screen, she's huffing and puffing about something.
Been with
Other men? But mostly just one man. Christopher.
Christopher.
My partner. He's a great guy.
Christopher.
Mm-hmm.
The blonde guy with the mustache. The guy we went to the zoo with that day when I got that horrible sunburn.
Mm-hmm.
The guy you said was your friend from work. Dad, we had him over for dinner in our house.
Honey,
You left us for him.
Ash, it's not that simple. We fell in love. I'm sorry, but I just don't know how else to say it. Ash,
How could you do this to me?
you see, this is exactly why I wanted to wait until you were older, so that you would understand.
Understand?
Yes, and not just hate me.
For what, Dad, huh? For knowing that you were gay or for knowing that all you've ever done is lie to me?
Ashley.
But, I mean, I don't know. I understand. I feel like if it were me, I would be shocked too, but I don't know. And that's the degree that she is. I mean, at the end of the day, he's an adult. Like, her parents split amicably. They're still friends. Because I think at one point during the episode, she thought her parents were going to get back together because they were kind of like hanging out a little bit. And they were like cordial. So she's thinking that, maybe her parents are going to rekindle things and she can go back to being, the center of their world. But no, not so much.
I feel like that, like, Ashley's dad and, like, her mom, like, I'm glad that, like, they're still, like, co-parenting, I guess you could say. So she doesn't feel like, her dad is, like, forgot about her almost, or that, like, he doesn't still have a connection or friendship with her mom,
Right.
because they still do. I think that that's, like, really important. But I feel like when Paige was like, oh yeah, it's fine, like, my brother's gay, or like, is your dad gay? Like, and like, she popped off, like, that was like, why would you say that?
Like, that was, right. And like, that was like the actual first time that Paige was earnestly asking her a question. Like, she wasn't trying to be shady. She wasn't trying to be petty. She was just like, well, maybe your dad's gay. Like, it's okay. Like, my brother's gay. Like, she like freaked out. Ashley did. She freaked out. So,
like, it's not like Paige wasn't being supportive. Like, she has a brother that's gay, and she's just like, she wants to comfort. Actually, I feel like.
Right, but it's like, it's hard taking that type of comfort from Paige when Paige has been like everything but nice all season. So I would understand, like, Ashley's already like high strung and like hard to like get through, and so having someone like Paige,
She's like a Regina George almost.
yeah, like, but she like has kind moments. Like, Regina George had no redeeming qualities. Paige has moments where she's being like, she puts on that, like, I'm the hot popular girl kind of persona, but like, we see her have like real moments
But she's nice.
Yeah, real moments when she's trying to be nice, but again, it's hard to receive from her. Like, you don't really receive things from like people who've been kind of a jerk to you. All right, at the number 3 spot, we have Rumors and Reputations, which is this insane episode. Oh my God, where Emma spreads a stupid rumor that Liberty is sleeping with Mr. Armstrong.
If it's about the microphones, do you even know what's going on? People are talking about you and Armstrong, that you're pretty close.
What does that mean?
It means that people think you two are, extra friendly.
They think he's doing things to me?
Yes. Is it true?
Of course not.
If it is, we have to report it. Liberty, please, just wait, we can talk.
Oh my freaking gosh.
Liberty, out of all the people.
That's not even it. That's not first of all. That's none of all. Because not out of all the people, he's a teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
She's 12.
So, like,
why would you think he's a pedophile, first of all?
I mean, credits to Emma, kind of, for, like,
Wait,
being credits to Emma kind of for like being, I guess, suspicious of it.
No.
Because like if you think something is wrong, like I get like she spreaded a rumor. I'm not like okay with her spreading a
She has
rumor.
PTSD, I think, from being kidnapped.
Yeah, but for her, like, I feel like she should have had other people's output on it instead of like spreading it.
That was the problem. She reached out to someone because she has suspicions, but in high school, things don't turn like, oh, we're concerned. They become rumors.
Yeah, well, she should.
There was no way to
I
handle. There was no way to handle it.
I don't really know how she could handle it, but I feel like
Talk to the principal. Talk to the guidance counselor.
yeah, that's what talk to an adult. Don't sit there and be like, you see what's going on between Liberty and Mr. Armstrong, like
But
that.
the crazy thing was she didn't even know she spread the rumor.
What do you mean?
Because when it got back down to her, she's like, we got to figure out who did this, because she would start doing her like save a hoe thing where she runs around and tries to be the savior and figure out who's doing what. So she tried to track down where the rumor started, and it got all the way back down to Terry because Terry overheard her talking about it, and it got back down to Emma being the one who started the rumor, and she didn't think she did initially anyway.
How did Emma even come up with that in the first place? Like, yeah, it was Liberty and Mr. Armstrong in a room.
Because she saw him pat her on the shoulder, and hand her a note. It was a pamphlet to help with her dyscalculia. It wasn't a love note.
She thought it was a love note.
She
She
thought she was a folded up piece of paper. She thought that it was some type of like meet me after school somewhere, blah blah, type thing. That was just ridiculous. I feel so bad for Liberty. Everyone's looking at her and thinking that she's being taken advantage of. I remember Sean was like, "Oh my God, that's sick." Liberty and Armstrong, and then it got back to Mr. Radich, and he had to come in and escort Mr. Armstrong out. And somebody else had to sub his class because of these rumors that Emma started. Just a hard episode to watch.
And then Liberty like came up to her and was like she like handed her the paper and was like,
"This is what he's helping me with." Yeah.
Liberty, I know you're in here. I was responsible for the rumors starting, but I didn't spread it. And there's a difference? You're lucky Mr. Armstrong didn't lose his job. And you know what makes me really mad? That you thought I could do that.
Do what? Be violated?
And what were you doing with Mr. Armstrong anyway? He had his arm around you? Passed you a note? You want to see my note?
Dyscalculia?
It's a learning disorder, like dyslexia, but with numbers. I've been really upset about it. Mr. Armstrong's been helping me.
So that's the explanation? Why didn't you say something? Because it means you're not perfect?
Because it means I'm stupid.
Stupid? You're one of the smartest kids in the school.
Not in math, I'm not.
Who cares?
I do. It's important to me to be the best. You don't understand.
Liberty, I feel really bad. Is there something I can do to help?
No, Emma. Go back to saving rainforests and whales. Because when it comes to helping people, you suck.
And it's a shame because Liberty's like the girl who knows how to do everything.
She's getting help, and you're gonna sit there and be like, oh, like no, she's getting tutored.
Yeah, I guess also people don't expect Liberty to be getting tutored. So because she's like so in charge of everything, she runs the grapevine. She's always has good grades or whatever. So
but no
it's
one's
uncommon
perfect.
for her, right? Uncommon for her to be like needing help. So the first thing Emma thinks of, because I think they didn't mention this in the episode. I don't think it gets brought up at all, but I think she does have some type of PTSD from being catfished and almost like assaulted by that Jordan guy. So I think this interaction that she sees between Mr. Armstrong and Liberty kind of like puts her into a frenzy because it reminds her of something real life that she went through, although it does not apply in Liberty's life. Yeah, that was just such a sad, and like Liberty comes up and she looks so sad and was like, why would you think that of me? Like, is that what you think of me? Like, why would I? It was just so sad.
That episode, I don't know, like my heart was hurting, low key.
Yeah. All right. Well, number 2.
What's it?
Jagged Little Pill.
Episode 15.
This is episode. There's a lot of moments in this episode that are shocking.
Yeah.
So, JT thinks he gets ecstasy from, I forgot where he said he got it from, but they think they're doing ecstasy, and they're actually doing like ibuprofen. Because Sean took it and switched it out, but Ashley ended up taking the E. Ashley throws a party. She takes E, and starts, going nuts. Like everyone knows Ashley's like kind of like humdrum, kind of dry, low key annoying. But she becomes like this insane party girl during this like little sleepover they're having, and puts on music, starts dancing around while they're like watching a movie. And then she ends up making out with Sean.
And breaking up with Jimmy.
And then tells Jimmy like, oh, Sean's more of a man you'll ever be, or something like that. Or
yeah, like
Sean's
she was like more romantic, I think she said, or something like that.
Yeah, like it was just a really weird situation. She really like pissed Jimmy off.
Where's Sean?
Jimmy, stop.
Where's Sean, Spinner?
He left like 2 minutes ago.
Jimmy, stop. Okay, I know you're upset, but what just happened was the most intense experience of my life. It was like this telescope, and I saw me, the real me.
Look, you don't know what you're saying.
What?
It's not you. It's the drugs.
Oh yeah, keep going, Dad. Keep telling me who I am.
Ash, look.
No. This is exactly why me and Sean just... He gets me. You... Ash, stop. Tara, I love your shirt. It's so shiny like stars.
I'm out of here.
What I should have done is broken up with you on your birthday, like I was going to. Ash, would you just stop being such a hag already? Paige, you are a hag. On 2 fronts. Your looks and your personality. Oh, Jimmy, just... You don't have what Sean has, and you never will. You're just not enough for me. Sorry.
Of course, they broke up, and it was just bad. This is bad news. It's like Ashley's downfall. Like every episode up until then has just been like, this is also the season finale, but it's just like kind of see it coming. Like Ashley has had such a hard year, and it boils down to this: her taking drugs.
I feel like Ashley and Jimmy always have some kind of issue.
Well, it's Ashley's fault. Ashley's always the one with the issue.
Yeah, and Jimmy, like, I get why Jimmy's, like, kind of, like, I don't know. He kind of, like, feels a certain way about Ashley. Like, he's like, oh. Like, he kind of, like, puts the blame on himself sometimes about the relationship. And I feel like it's not your fault, Jimmy.
Because that's the way Ashley will never take accountability for anything she's ever done. That's the thing about her. Like, if any problem she's ever had, it's always like an external blame. Like, oh, my parents got divorced. Oh, Toby's now in my life. He's annoying. Oh, Paige is making me feel a certain way.
But Toby isn't even bad.
Right. Like, it's always someone else's problem when you're like, maybe, Ashley, you're just a little bit sensitive, maybe you're a little bit high strung, maybe you're a little bit annoying, maybe you check yourself first. It's never, she's not like an internal, she doesn't reflect on her own her own life. But you know, I guess I would say she's young, but other people in Degrassi know how to kind of check themselves when they're wrong. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But Ashley's a jerk. She's like, you know, no one likes her. She's not the fave.
Not at all.
Never done drugs at a party like that in high school. I know a lot of kids my high school did, but yeah, no, it wasn't something I was like always like wanting to be in control of myself. So it's just that never occurred to me to do that. Huh?
You've been to parties before?
Yeah.
I never have. Never been to a high school party.
Well, half your high school have been quarantined, so.
Yeah.
All right, so that was wild. I can't say enough how much I dislike Ashley. All right, so number 1 is Mother and Child Reunion, which was the first episode of the series. And it's in a number 1 spot as the most shocking episode because they came out with a bang and Emma almost died.
Yep. So, Emma gets catfish by, what is his name, Jordan?
Some old guy named Jordan.
And like...
And he said he's like, 14 or something like that. He's going to be in her town for
he
summer
goes to camp and all this other kind of stuff. Like,
and asked to meet her at this hotel, where she lies and says she's going somewhere else. Goes to this hotel, meets him, and his camp counselor, quote unquote, comes down and says, "Oh, we're eating pizza up in the room. Like, come up." And no one's in the room. He says, "Oh, the guys, Jordan, the rest of everyone's in the next room. Let me just go give them the pizza." Or no, he sits the pizza down, and you're like eating some of the pizza, and she's like, "Oh, where's everyone else?" And
I forget. I think he said like they're like at the pool or like something. Like they were.
Yeah, he like knocked on the door. Was like, "Guys, pizza's here." And like no one actually came out.
Yeah. So that was like big
alarming. Yeah. And then like there's a camera set up at the top of the corner of the room.
Yeah, there's a camera, and she looks like right at the camera too.
Yeah. So she knows it's there, and she tries to go to the bathroom, and she realizes, oh, this is Jordan.
What's the matter? You don't like mushrooms?
No, I'm not hungry. Do you know what? I think I left my bag downstairs. I'm just gonna go and see if it's there.
Emma, your bag's right here. What's going on?
You're Jordan, aren't you?
A noise, and I tape your mouth. And I don't think you'd want that.
This is a very scary episode. I mean, for us to come out in 2001, and we're still dealing with this catfish internet issue, it's gotten even worse. When this came out, the catfish wasn't even a term. But very scary episode. Very, like, I think out of all the things that happened on Degrassi, this is still one of the top moments because it was just a very scary episode. Just a fear I remember growing up with because I was around the same age as, Emma when this came out, and being kidnapped and talking to strangers online, especially because the internet was very new back then and everyone was like pretty trusting.
But like the fact that she didn't tell anyone was like I feel like she would have told men.
Yeah,
out of all the people.
Yeah, she didn't. Yeah.
Emma, your mother's at her reunion. She doesn't even know that you're missing. We have ours. Emma. You smell so sweet. feel so close to you. I've been dreaming about this over and over and over again. Waiting.
Because I think the thing was, Manny, she said she had told them that's what they wanted to do, and they were kind of telling her not to do it.
Didn't like Manny like not support it. She was like, no, don't do that. Like, why would you go by yourself?
Right. And then Toby and JT kind of like said, no, I don't think, well, what if he's an old guy? Like, what if he's not who he says he was? So there was already a seed of doubt within her friend group, so she knows she couldn't go to them for like advice.
But how did like the people at the hotel just like let a kid just walk up in there?
I mean, kids come to hotels all the time. Like Kevin McAllister in Home Alone 2 walked into a hotel by himself.
I don't get that.
You don't always have to have an adult with you. What if you're like a child actor and you walk into a hotel that your agent set up for you?
But there was no questions asked.
Their parent could be upstairs. If there's a kid in the lobby of a hotel, like, it's no big deal. Kids are at hotels. Sometimes they go downstairs and get breakfast. The people on staff don't remember who came in what night because they all work different shifts. They don't know who's already been checked in, who hasn't. Like, you could just walk into a hotel lobby and sit down. People walk into a hotel lobby and sit down and do work all the time. They're not necessarily staying at the hotel. Mm-hmm. So, and from what I remember, it was a kind of a busy hotel lobby. So it was a perfect place for a kidnapper to take someone.
Yeah.
I think kidnappers often frequent hotels and places to do their crimes because there's just so much going on. So, yeah, that was a top 10. Wow, so we got through all 10 of them. Yeah. If you stuck with us, thank you so much. Again, let us know how you feel about our picks. If you have different picks, any moments that should have made the list that didn't, please share that with us. We love to know. And pretty soon we're going to drop episode 2 in this series where we're going to count down the top 10 moments of season 2. So that should be dropping probably within the same week, if not right after this episode. So stay tuned for that. And then once we are done with the top 10 of season 2, we're going to jump into season 3, and that's just going to be a regular format where we're just going to break down episode by episode and get your feedback then. So
thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening, and thanks for coming back. If you're returning, again, if you're new, stick it out because we're going to actually be releasing episodes on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again for listening. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye.